Okay. Tell me when you're recording.
I'm recording.
Great. Okay. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Stas Margaronis, and this is the Propeller Club of Northern California. And welcome, everybody. We are waiting for our guest, Rich, and he is not. Sung Lee, good morning. I see Nick Marone. I'm going to start introducing everybody. And we do not yet have our guest, but I'm going to start with the introductions as soon as everybody is here. And we have...
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. And this is Stas Margaronis, and I am the president of the Propeller Club of Northern California. And we have a number of guests this morning, and I am going to start by asking people to introduce themselves. And we are waiting for our guest to so, Todd, you seem to always get the lead up there. Do you want to introduce yourself? Todd?
Stas, you might want to mute everyone until the person that you want speaking because there's a lot of background noise.
Okay. Todd, do you want to come in? Say hello.
That me?
That's you, Todd.
Oh, John?
Todd Crawshaw. Good morning.
Morning. Hi, I'm Todd Crawshaw, Crawshaw Design. We provide integrated brand marketing for print and the web.
Thank you, Todd. Ron Brown.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you again, Stas, for putting this together. Is this the time you want me to give my briefing or just say hello?
I'm going to come back to you in just a second on that.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone.
I see, who's the other Ron?
Ron Cancilla, Impact.
Ron, good morning. How are you?
I think he's new.
Okay. Good morning, Ron. I see Greg Feeney. Greg.
How are you?
Good morning, Greg. Who are you?
I'm Greg Feeney from Port Transfer, Ron's neighbor. We work together and we all try to take care of the port down here. And a lot of our stuff is ag products and, you know, some cross-dock stuff. The heavy stuff, I leave to Ron.
Very good. Thank you very much. Evie Wong. Try that. Evie, who are you?
On some days, I'm not sure anymore. Evie Huang, I'm with Alba Wheels Up. I'm currently president of the Customs Brokers Forwarders of Northern California, and happy to be here. Thank you, Stas.
Thank you very much, Evie. Ellis Wallenberg.
Hi, good morning, Stas. Good morning, everybody. I'm Ellis Wallenberg. I'm with Weiss Associates, and we do environmental work, and we do a lot of work over at Ron Brown's place and for also the San Francisco and Redwood City. A lot of the ports are on the water around the bay.
Thank you very much. I see Frank Ramirez. Frank, good morning.
Good morning.
Frank, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I do. Name is Frank Ramirez. I work in the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, and I primarily work on issues related to goods movement and the area of freight. I work a lot with the ports, trucking companies, warehousing folks, railroads, air cargo, just anything having to do with the movement of goods. We get our hands involved both at the policy level and most currently, we've been working on helping keep the supply chain open during this pandemic. And I've been spending a lot of time doing that lately, working with the airports and trying to identify who critical personnel are, and helping guide with opening rules and guidelines so that we can open up our economy in a safe manner. So I'm doing a lot of that right now.
Frank, are you doing any work with the ports?
You know, we have. I've worked primarily with the smaller ports. The larger ports like Long Beach and Port of LA, they have a very good thing going for them right now. Gene has done a very good job in helping them acquire the PPE, the supplies they need. So I've worked with ports like Redwood City, Port of Hueneme, some of the smaller ports that, and I've also been working individually with companies like SSA, helping them get their PPE needs filled.
Very good.
Stas,
Yes.
we made it.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, good.
So,
Rich, why don't you introduce yourself?
okay. And first of all, my apologies. Thank you, one, for the invite. And we wouldn't be on this call if my new APD, Felicia Brown, hadn't brought her private cell phone, because that's how we actually had to get in here. I don't think these government phones work. They don't allow us to do certain things. If they identify it as Zoom, anything to do with it, immediately they're apparently just blocking us. So I have to give full credit to Felicia for getting us in here. So as I said, this is Rich DiNucci. I currently this week, for my last week, I'm the area port director for the area port of San Francisco, which includes the Oakland Seaport, San Jose, San Francisco, and Oakland airports, and a lot of little ones in between. I will be shifting over to take over as the director of field operations, which is this entire AOR, which includes the San Francisco field office and what is still officially known as the Portland field office. So yes, I'm not looking forward to taking over Portland right about now, but you do what you have to do. That will be effective on Sunday for me. And I will then have all the area ports within San Francisco. That would include bringing in Denver, Anchorage, Honolulu, and all the way out tomorrow, I believe it is, in Guam and CNMI and Saipan. I will say one thing. I'm a little bit different in terms of the current DFO. I will be, this won't be the last you see of me. I have a number of stakeholder communities that I will continue to deal with, and I don't intend to be a stranger. So I will be reaching out on a regular basis just to see how things are going, what issues may be arising, make sure that we're meeting our, well, frankly, our obligations to our stakeholders, and making sure that what needs to be done or what needs to be fixed is getting fixed. So I will not be a stranger to the community moving forward, even though I'm moving up there a little bit and expanding my responsibility. So I'll still be in touch in that regard. Some of you may know my temporary replacement will be Bruce Murley. Bruce is the port director for customs in Honolulu. Bruce actually was the acting port director here in San Francisco for about a year, just before I got here, just prior to Mr. Baxter taking over for a little bit. So Bruce will be coming in effective next week. And Bruce knows the port. As I said, he was the acting PD here in the transition from the, well, let's say the transition over to me as the full-time PD. So Bruce will be coming in next week. And as many people know, Stas, why did you put that picture up? Oh my God. So thank you for taking that back down. And as we know, Steve Baxter retired, and he is loving life. And I will quote Mr. Baxter, "Not working does not suck." So just so everybody knows, he's having a good time. And he's enjoying life up in Rockland right now and getting out and playing a little bit of golf. But we are very, very lucky, very, very fortunate. We have selected and appointed and now officially in the position is Felicia Brown. And Felicia has been here her entire career. And she knows the seaport very, very well. She also works at the airport, but Felicia is an extremely strong manager. And as I said, knows the issues. And in my time here, my 3 years, she's dealt with some very, very complex issues, some really sensitive issues, and she's done a great job. So we are very fortunate to have Felicia, and she's right here with me this morning. So she can say hello real quick, and just let her say hi and introduce herself a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Some of you already know. Others who may not know me, I have been in the port for a while, and I've been in trade since 2012 as senior manager. So I've probably dealt with a lot of you on a regular basis. So anything that you need from the trade end or from the tactical end, I will be handling that, both air, ocean, ECF, and mail facility. If you need anything from us, we are here, and we are here to help you. And we want to continue the relationship that we currently have, a very good relationship with the brokerage community, trucking community, and all the other stakeholders. So if you need anything, please just let me know.
Very good. I'm going to continue to do the introductions, and then, Rich, we're going to come back to you in just a couple of minutes.
That works.
Okay, and then we'll get that nice photo back up. Well, that'll teach you to show up late.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kim Arrive, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
And what are you up to?
Well, just doing tasks around the house and down in my shop.
Okay.
Sheltering at home.
All right. Well, good to have you, and I look forward to hearing some more about how our favorite ship is doing, which we need to do at some point.
Well, I haven't been up there in a while, so I'm not really up to date on the Red Oak Victory. So.
Okay. Well, we will stay in touch on that. Thank you very much, Kim.
Okay.
Chris Ramos.
Hi, Chris Ramos with KSI. I am the immediate past president of CB Bank.
Very good, Chris. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I see Nick Marone. Mr. Marone, good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning to you, Stas. It's surely a great day to hear faces I haven't seen in a long, long time. So for those I don't see, but your voice is there, it's a pleasure to hear you all. I hope everybody's doing well and is safe. I am the vice president of the West Coast for the Seafarers International Union. We're the largest U.S. maritime union in the country today, and crew a great majority of our U.S. flag fleet.
Very good, Nick. Thank you very much. And Alice, good morning, Alice Heron.
Hey, good morning. I'm Alice Heron. I work with Golden State Renewable Energy, founding principal, and I'm also a board member of the Propeller Club.
Alice, thank you very much. Anita Yao. Anita?
Good morning. I have a technical problem. So, yeah, this is Anita Yao from Port of San Francisco, the wharfinger for Hyde Street and the Fisherman's Wharf area. And I'm one of the board director also.
Thank you very much, Anita.
Thank you.
I see Captain Marie Bird. Captain Bird, good morning.
Oops.
All right.
Oh, sorry about that. Hi, good morning, everyone. And likewise, it's so great to see everyone that I also haven't had an opportunity to see in a while. And I know that I missed out from the Maritime Day celebration that you guys had, or you also had a was it a Propeller Club kind of mixer, and I really wanted to try to make it for that, but my schedules didn't work out. But for those that I have not met, I'm a captain of the port for Northern California. I'm the sector commander of Sector San Francisco.
Captain, while we have you here for a second, could you just give us a quick update about how things are going on the waterfront?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for, 5 months. And as we all know, the San Francisco Bay Area really began our COVID response operations with Grand Princess. So as you all know, we were the first captain of the port zone to receive a commercial vessel with presumed positive COVID-19 cases on board. And at the time, the White House, CDC, HHS, the strategy for combating coronavirus was still containment. And that's how come you saw all the passengers get routed to quarantine stations at military bases all over the US, right? And they were going to Texas and Georgia and all parts of California to military bases. But as you had seen since, that was kind of untenable, and the only cruise ship they did that for was the Grand Princess. And then after that, it became a part of mitigation strategy. But I say all that as far as for Coast Guard and for our port partners here online is we've been running response operations and modified operations in the port since beginning of March, probably 2 to 3 weeks before our counterparts across the nation. But I'm hoping, and I'm welcoming feedback from those online that between my marine inspectors, my facility inspectors, our search and rescue platforms, that you are not seeing any drop in Coast Guard operations and requirements, because clearly I would need to know that. But as far as from my team and then from those partners that reach out to me, I think that all of us are continuing with modifying operations. I had the opportunity to do a unit visit on the SS Petersburg last Monday, part of the MARAD Ready Reserve Fleet over in Suisun Bay. One of our marine inspectors was floating the tanks, which means for internal structural exam, for those that might not know that marine inspection side of the house, but they'll actually, the marine inspector will inspect each of the fuel tanks on board the Petersburg, and then they'll fill it up with water about a third of the way, and then they go on a raft and then inspect the structural integrity of the tanks at that level. Then they'll fill the water up with another 2/3 full, and then they'll inspect the tanks at that level, and then continue on. And floating the tanks inside a single hull tanker like that is pretty cool. And so I told the marine inspector, I was like, I want to see that. And so I got to see Mike from Tote, and because they run that operations on behalf of MARAD. But twice. So as I entered the facility for the parking lot that's behind the gate, they took my temperature with the laser thermometer, and they asked me all the COVID questions. And then secondly, once I went on board the ship's company also did the same thing and asked me those same questions. So these are all things that I know that everyone in the port is doing to protect themselves, as well as to protect their workers, as we're carrying out these essential operations. So with that, unless anyone has any questions particularly, I welcome your feedback as well, as far as Coast Guard operations in our port.
I had a quick question for you, Captain. When are you going to open the base for the retirees?
Oh, so for Coast Guard Island,
Yes.
I'm gonna have to talk to the base commander. So just the same as each of your facilities. So phase 0 is where we were right in March and April. And then, you know, the state of California started to slowly open up. But we remain in phase 1. So phase 0 is where we were at when everybody was in shelter in place. Phase 3 is normal operations. So phase 1, even on my base, my duty team that stands the command center watch, the VTS watch, and the base watch, as far as like ensuring for the gate watch standard and those type of things, they're not allowed to have their families come on base to bring them like dinner. Like used to in normal operations before COVID, if you knew you had to spend the night on Yerba Buena Island, your families would come and bring you a meal and those type of things. But we don't have, everyone is considered an infection threat, right? And in order for me to preserve mission readiness, I need to preserve the workforce. And so even on Yerba Buena Island, I don't have family, we don't host visitors. Our reservists come and drill in clusters and are to keep at minimum interaction with our active duty. So I would have to say that as far as on Coast Guard Island, they are operating with that same precautions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Captain. Thank you very much.
Yes,
And,
thank you.
If anybody else has any questions, we can come back towards the end. The next person that I see here is, let's see, I have Emily Sinclair. Good morning, Emily.
Hi, good morning. Emily here with Corporate Communications at the Pasha Group and Pasha Hawaii. I work with Sue. So, hi, everybody.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. John Burge. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Stas. I'm John Berg with the PMSA. Pleased to be here. And also just quickly like to say we're sorry to see Rich leaving the PD position, but happy that he's staying in the area, and also very happy to hear that he intends to continue engaging our trade community from his new loftier position. So thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Laura Covery, good morning. Laura.
Good morning, Stas. Good morning, everybody. I'm Laura Covery. I have a consulting company, Environmental Maritime Services, and I also teach at Global Supply Chain Management at UCLA Extension, and now teaching supply chain management and upper division management courses at Cal State Long Beach. And I teach at an apprenticeship program in San Pedro, trying to recruit young people into the world of small boats and ships.
And how is that challenge going to be done virtually, Laura?
Well, the Coast Guard has allowed us to have training classes through Zoom. So I originally applied for a waiver to teach classes that way. We do have a couple of apprentices who are dispatched with tug companies. So they're working with those companies and abiding by their COVID requirements. And so mostly the classes are Zoom. We have been looking for another location, and fingers crossed, I think we found a great place to go. And hopefully within a couple of months, we should be moving to a really nice waterfront facility in order to help our training of young people going into the maritime industry.
Very good. Well, this is a very worthy cause, and we look forward to hearing more about this. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Chapman, good morning.
Good morning, Mike Chapman here. I'm with the West Propeller Club of the United States, Port of the Golden Gate. We support the Maritime Academy and in scholarships for the kids up there. We also support the Red Oak Victory. I do personally as well as a group. And we support the Jeremiah O'Brien. And I'm retired now about 14 years.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mike, and welcome once again.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, Natalie, good morning.
Hi, I'm a student at Cal State Long Beach, and I've been interning for STOS throughout the summer.
And are you doing anything interesting with STOS during the summer? Did we just do a research project that people be interested in?
Yeah, we're working on AmeriCorps and supporting the Coons bill to reach out and help outreach with college students who might be interested.
Very good. Natalie, thank you very much. I see Sung Lee, did we introduce you? I can't remember. Sung Lee.
No, I think we had some technical problems in the beginning. I am Sung Lee. I'm a custom broker and part of the CB Bank organization, well represented here. I'm also reporting to the District Expo Council, as Ron Brown knows, and yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us. I see Susan Sullivan. Susan, good morning. Susan, are you there?
There we go. Sorry, I had to get the mute off.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I work with the PASHA group. I'm the manager of the Over High and Wide Cargo Division, and I'm also a member of the Propeller Club. I'm one of the board of directors.
Very good. Susan, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Dennis Dysinger. Good morning, Dennis.
Hey, good. Let's get off mute here. How's that? Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, yeah, good. Dennis Dysinger with BAE Systems Ship Repair. I'm the commercial business development guy and mostly based out of San Diego. As you know, there was a big fire on the Bonhomme Richard. That was I just wanted everybody to know that was a NASSCO ship that they were working on. But we do have the sister ship in our dry dock right now. And as you can imagine, everybody's on pins and needles, you know, doing their best to keep everybody safe. You know, we have like 1,500 to 1,700 workers, sailors, vendors coming in and out of the gate every day. And we're testing. And I'm pretty happy with the low number of cases that we've had from everybody. So we're doing our part to keep things safe and fix the Navy ships that we have down there. Thanks.
Dennis, thank you very much. I see Chris Garces. Chris, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Garces, and I work for TLR in downtown San Francisco. Well, now obviously in my apartment by the beach, where it drizzles all day long this time of year. And I'm a past president of the Brokers Association. And while I have your ear, Rich, I suggest a Rich and Dora Zoom cocktail party, inviting all the stakeholders. Just an idea.
Ah, okay. Rich, you heard that, so we'll come back to you on that suggestion. And Deborah, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can.
I am with TLR under Chris Garces. I'm just recently passed my cousin's brokerage about 2 years ago. And I'm an import specialist at TLR. And I'm new to the West Coast. I came from Texas, Houston, Texas. And now I'm in Orange County.
You're in Orange County?
It was a pleasure to meet all of you. And I'm glad to be a part of it too.
Thank you very much
for
joining us. I see Benita Margaronis. Benita, come on and introduce yourself. Okay, she's going to quickly. She's here with her father, so she's getting it together here. Come on, Ben.
Hi.
Okay, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Mute yourself.
I don't know how to do that. Go ahead.
Dad, mute yourself.
Okay. Todd, can you mute me, please? Okay, Benita.
I'm Benita Margaronis. I'm Stas's daughter. Dad.
Hold on a second. Todd, can you mute me, please?
Yeah, let me see if I can hear.
Okay.
Doc, it's almost lunchtime. Let's get the show on the road.
Benita.
Hello, Benita.
Hi, Nick.
It's the feedback between the computers.
Okay. Okay, Benita, go ahead. To just say, number one, we have Ron Brown here. And Ron, I would like you to maybe just give us a 2-minute update about what's going on at the Port of Oakland. Ron?
Right, I'm going to follow Nick's lead and get this show on the road and be very, very succinct. A couple things. As you guys know, the port has certainly been open through all of this pandemic. No real issues, you know, so a few challenges here and there at the terminals that we've been working through. For some of you that don't know, we do have a new maritime director. His name is Brian Brandes, and I'm going to suggest to Stas at some point we have him on actually to talk about sort of his plans for the port going forward into the future. Everyone knows today is Harry Bridges' birthday, so the terminals are closed, at least for the first shift. I think the second shift is open at all the terminals. So for those of you that are close by, and I know that Impact Transportation is close by, so you may see some lines out there, and cargo movements tomorrow may be a little bit busy because some of the cargo can't get into the terminals today. But all in all, the port has been doing very well. Our cargo balance has been very good. We haven't seen the drop off that the Southern California ports have seen, mostly because Oakland historically has been balanced with imports and exports. A little bit of overall drop off, but for the most part, we've done very well in terms of cargo movements. Blank sailings very quickly. We did see a few blank sailings through late May, June, and a little bit into July. A lot of that has begun to slow down now. We are beginning to see more import cargo coming in, and we think that we'll be back to, I'd call it 90% of our import volume for the month of August. So stay tuned.
Okay. Ron, thank you very much. Okay, so I think we've introduced everybody, and Greg, was that you?
Sorry.
You mute yourself, please. Great. Okay, so Evie Wong is still there. If you could do the introduction for Rich and Todd, if you could maybe mute everybody so that Evie can get through there. Evie, you've got the floor.
Okay, thank you, Stas. I have the esteemed challenge of introducing our speaker today, Rich DiNucci. And Rich, I know you don't like a long bio, so I'm going to shorten the one that I have on you. So Rich DiNucci has almost 30 years of federal service and has served in a variety of leadership positions in field and at headquarters. In 2016, he served as acting Port Director, New York, and where he oversaw 1,000 customs officers, and also at Newark Liberty International Airport, Newark Seaport, New York and Newark cruise ship terminals, 4 general aviation airports, and a UPS consignment facility at Newark Liberty International Airport. And with all of these responsibilities, Rich has also served at headquarters, and he has wide experience in the Office of Field Operations, cargo entry, and clearance. Certainly, Rich DiNucci was known to us before he came to San Francisco. We were very fortunate to have Rich starting in September 2017 as our area port director. We are a little verklempt that he is now going to go to a couple blocks over to the district field operations, but we are very, very fortunate that he will be in San Francisco port. And while his role might change a little bit, I really welcome what Rich said earlier, that he'll be around and he's not shy. So he'll make his influence and his advocacy for our port and our industry well. And most of you who have interacted with Rich knows that he's a straight talker. He'll tell you how it is. And with that, I will give the floor to Rich, and he can give us what he's going to be doing in his new role. And I would also like to say that Felicia, we are very glad that you're actors. You're well known to us, and we enjoy working with you as well.
Evie, thank you very much. And just before we get into Rich, I noticed that we have a celebrity who has just showed up, Peter Friedman. Would you like to introduce yourself, Peter? Okay, he's silent over there. Peter?
Well, I see you. Okay. Hi, can you hear me? Yeah. I'm looking for the celebrity, actually.
You're it.
Oh, well, boy. All I can say is that a lot of people are back east here in DC are very upset with Rich DiNucci and with everybody on the West Coast for Rich moving out of DC headquarters and going out to the coast. Rich was the go-to guy for so many people for so many years at headquarters. You're right, he's not shy, Evie. Rich is the guy you went to when things got difficult and other people at headquarters couldn't quite figure out how to do it or didn't want to put the elbow grease into getting it done. You went to Rich. Rich got things done at headquarters. So, Rich, we're still glad you're around. If you're going to go anywhere from headquarters, we're really glad you went to San Francisco and to the West Coast. But we wish you all the luck there. But I can tell you, even those years, this many years later, you're still missed here in DC.
Peter Friedman from AgTC. Peter, thank you very much for that very nice introduction. And Mr. Marone, I come from a Greek household, so chaos is a constant way of communication, just as it is in Italian households. So without any further ado, I now will introduce our speaker, Mr. DiNucci. Rich, you have the floor.
Well, thank you. That was something else. Well, I'll just say thank you very much. One, and again, I apologize for the technical issues. That's our security people. And I think what you had was a preview of the fact that Felicia is a very practical individual, and as a manager, she'll fix things. So that's a good sign. So here I am. And Peter, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Evie as well. And Chris, I'll take the cocktail thing under advisement and see what we can do at some point there. I cover a couple things here, but I will reiterate, you know, it's different set of responsibilities as the DFO, but I'm not going to be a stranger to the stakeholders. I'm still accountable to the stakeholders, and I will not be a stranger. I expect to be invited to certain things to meet and to discuss issues that are coming up. And while I'm not a micromanager, I will have my hand in things, so I will know what's going on, but I will not be a stranger. Count on that. Just a couple things I'd kind of like to talk about right now. I don't think there's any secret with this whole COVID situation, what's actually occurred. Our airport operations are down some days by 95%. Yesterday, we did 485 passengers at SFO. This time of year, a normal day, we'd probably do 22,000. So that should give you some idea as to what we're looking at. That has had a significant impact on the agency's budget and OFO's budget in particular. And I know that's been a point of concern for some folks. So I will just kind of let you know that we have some very, very dedicated, creative people at headquarters. And there was some discussion for a bit. I know that people had seen that USCIS had done some furloughs. There was discussion that could possibly happen here. That was not the case, will not be the case. Our budget folks have managed to, deal with that situation, quite frankly, creatively. And we will not be not be furloughing officers or ag specialists. We are all hands on deck at this point. We will continue to be that way. We will more than likely be on a continuing resolution through the end of the year. Obviously, DC is a unique place right now, so I don't think there'll be a lot of movement in that regard, but we will be fully staffed. And as Ron Brown noted, of all the West Coast ports, I think that Oakland is probably been the most stable through this when I look at some of the information that crosses my desk. So we are actually sending some officers over to work cargo in East Bay, at West Bay Air Cargo, and at the IMF. One, to keep folks working, two, to get folks as much experience as possible in the cargo environment while we're down in the passenger environment. So we haven't seen a large decrease in activity in the seaport. So we're going to be putting more hands over there to learn and to help out. And we'll continue to focus on that. We're also, as an agency, we're continuing to hire. And actually, the latest authorization gave more higher authority to OFO. So, we had a swearing in yesterday. We've been doing them remotely because of the COVID, but we continue to bring officers on. And I will tell you that when I'm in the field office level, I'll be advocating strongly for this port because we have been short of our authorized levels, and I'm going to continue to push so that we get to that fully staffed level. But we are in good shape right now, and I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that because I know there have been a lot of discussion, a lot of rumors floating out there, but we're doing well. Obviously, we're concerned with COVID. We've had great partnerships, frankly, with CDC in terms of screening people in, and we were doing the evacuation flights from Wuhan out of Travis Air Force Base. CDC was a great partner for us. They have continued to be a great partner at the airport. We've obviously worked closely, as Captain Bird mentioned, with Coast Guard, with the cruise ships. That was a bit of a tough issue there, but we managed to get through that. And the cruise ship services group also was excellent in helping out there. But we are doing a lot to make sure that we protect our workforce. Some ports and customs have had pretty high rates of infection because of where they were and are. We've done well here. We've only at this point, we're less than half a dozen that have actually tested positive. They've quarantined, and some of those have already come back to work. So we're continuing to work diligently to make sure we protect the staff. Don't expect a lot of new activity at the airport for quite some time, frankly. A bit of a concern, but as I said, we've redeployed to the cargo environments, and we will continue to do that. And again, I just want to stress that we are grateful for our colleagues at CDC. Susan Dwyer at the airport is a ball of fire. She is the ever-ready bunny. She never stops moving, but she has kept our staff out there healthy. And I know she's not on this call, but I just have to call her out and thank her to no end for the fact that we've managed to keep everybody out there pretty healthy through this whole thing. But we are essentially fully staffed in that regard. And as people come across this, we do what we need to do to protect them and protect the rest of the staff. But we are doing quite well here. And hopefully with the level of service out there, you'll see that that really has not changed. As I noted, we haven't seen much of a drop-off in the seaport. Air cargo is obviously been picking up. Some of the carriers have decided that, or the shippers have decided, we've got to get it there quickly. Our air carriers, the airlines, are basically just strapping cargo into passenger seats. That way they can keep their assets in shape and at the same time make a little money moving cargo. So we've worked with SFO to deal with that. They've actually been using, still using the A or G side gates for some of that, but so far so good with that. Anything we can do to keep that process going for them, we're certainly willing to accommodate that, and we've been working pretty hard with them. We have seen some upticks in the ocean realm and ocean cargo with what might formerly have been an express movement, and they've put those on vessels. That's been a struggle, because when you take air cargo and put it on a vessel, there's a limit to what the vessel, the vessel operator is going to be able to get on a manifest, and we've kind of been struggling with that. I don't know to what extent we'll continue to see it. My guess is it will continue to be that way as it's gotten expensive to do some other ways. But there are challenges in that realm with manifesting and with the ISF filing as well. And these are what would, for all intents and purposes, be I won't say an express package, but it would be you're talking 30, 40,000 house bills that would fit under one bill, one master, and that's a challenge in the ocean environment. And the carriers only accept X amount before they'll say that's one box and that's one box done. Now you're on to the next one. That's not what a lot of the air cargo operators are used to, but they have shifted, and we're dealing with that as best we can. And a lot of that is what would be an e-commerce type shipment. So it's been a bit of a challenge for us, and we'll continue to work through that, do the best we can. And while at the same time, obviously maintaining our mission critical functions. We have seen a lot and dealt a lot with the shipments of PPE. And there was just actually, and I'm sure Peter's aware, Senate Finance hearing today on that. I think CBP was there. I think my successor, Mr. Overacker, was one of the testifiers. We've seen that on and off here. We've done the best we can do to expedite the clearance of that cargo when we know it's a government shipment. We've worked with the state of California, the governor's office of emergency services. We've worked with the city of San Francisco in the same fashion. I had the opportunity to meet the lieutenant governor. She came through for a tour, and we kind of walked through a lot of what we've been doing and a lot of what we've tried to expedite in terms of PPE getting to the first responders at the state and local level here in California. I think she walked away pleased with that and what we've done. We continue to do that as best we can. We've seen a lot more of it, but we'll continue to work with all of our partners to make sure that we're not being overly bureaucratic in clearing that, especially when we know where it's going. There are concerns with some of it, but we'll continue to work as hard as we can with everybody to expedite the clearance of that specific type cargo. We are, and I've never made a secret of it, and I talked to Ron Brown once or twice about it. We've struggled a little bit with communicating in the Port of Oakland, with the Port of Oakland specifically. That actually was one of the topics I talked to the lieutenant governor about, and she was very, very nice in terms of taking that message back, I think, and I've seen some improvement in the communication. We have a meeting this Thursday with the port. We're going to discuss, some issues of mutual interest in terms of port operations. I know we're a unique entity out here in terms of how we're viewed, but, one of my operating principles is we're still part of this community, and we do provide a service, and we do that within the structure of our mission critical functions, but we are part of the community, and we're here to make sure that the port is efficient as possible. And when the opportunities are there for the port to grow, we certainly do not wish to be any kind of barrier to that. So we're working hard to get there. And I think that Danny Wan will be part of that meeting. I certainly hope that he will be. I got a chance to meet Danny at his inaugural speech way back when. I think that's probably back in the spring, if my memory serves. COVID and a lot of other things have interrupted my time frame since here lately, but I had offered Danny a tour of the port, and I'll reiterate that I'd love to take him out and show him our operation, show him what we contribute. And again, we want to be part. We know we're part of the community. We know we have a unique role within that community. But for those of you who know me, you also know that I know that entails service as well, not just meeting our functions in terms of contraband interdiction and things like that, and security and scanning containers for radiation. So that's the framework I use as I approach these problems. The biggest issue I think we have in Oakland, and I haven't made a secret of it in my 3 years here, is our facility out there at Maritime is dilapidated is probably a nice word. It's not the most conducive to a healthy and happy workforce. And we've talked about that in a few other venues, State of the Port and others. I hope that we can continue to get that discussion with the Port of Oakland, as I see a whole lot of new facilities going up. The growth over there has been something to behold with the warehouse space that's gone up in the last year, 2 years. But that's a challenge for us, especially as we look to move staff over there. And as I said, I expect that this situation with the airlines, they're talking recoveries that are going to take them probably a year, maybe longer. And I cannot leave staff idle at the airport. They will be shifted to deal with where the workload resides, and that is in the cargo realm now. But I don't have the space, frankly, in Oakland to house those folks. So we'll continue to talk about that and what we can do to hopefully help. A couple of other issues real quick, because I know it's getting close to lunchtime. We are about ready to finalize our CES bid process and to get that out with an announcement. Before Steve left, he was working on that, and Felicia's taken that, and she's been driving that with the field office. So as I take over the field office, I will make sure that gets out and done in short order. There's been some interest in that, and I know that continues to be the case. I think our end, and Evie, you can correct me or add it all, but I think in terms of the customs end, the fumigation piece is done. The bonding process is complete. So as far as we're concerned on this end, I think we're in good shape. So that's a big plus for the port, I think, and in terms of that. One other issue on on personnel, we've now positioned ourselves. As I said, we've been doing a lot more hiring, and the agriculture group, we're going to be getting some additional canine out here, and so we're really looking forward to that. We do take very, very seriously what we do in terms of providing protection for the Central Valley, and what we do in terms of expediting exports and the like. So we know we have two responsibilities in that regard, and I think with the additional resources for our ag specialists, we'll be even a stronger position to contribute to what goes on in the Central Valley, and then contribute to Oakland as a port for export of those products. And I've got 2 new officers assigned. You've taken it on, and we'll have 2 canine. Additional canine, we're adding those at the airport as well, which is a big layer of protection for the Central Valley. So we're very happy with that. And at that, Stosh, I think that's kind of in a nutshell where I am. As I said, I will not be a stranger. If I don't get invites, I'll probably just poke my head in anyway. but I will continue to be involved with the community here because obviously it's it is the largest port in my AOR, and so I will continue to stay involved. And I think I know the issues fairly well, so I'm looking forward to it. I don't necessarily like leaving this beautiful office I have here. I was trying to see if there's a way they could transplant it over into that building I have to go into, but so far they're telling me they can't do it. But maybe what I'll do is take a picture and see if I can't do a virtual office or something like that. At any rate, I thank you again for the opportunity. I apologize for the technical difficulties, and I'll thank Felicia again for fixing that real quick. I'm happy to take any questions or hear any concerns that may be out there right now with anything that I've covered, or if there's anything I haven't covered. I'm perfectly happy to take little questions on that, do the best I can to give you answers.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. We've got a few minutes for questions. Does anybody have any questions? I see Ron Brown. Ron Brown's got his hand up. Can we unmute Ron? I've unmuted Ron.
All right. Thank you, Stas. And Rich, a couple things, and I'm more of a comment than a question, but I do have a question. Thank you for following through on the CES. That's certainly a big issue for our port. There's a couple people on the call today. They also know that one of the areas that we're working on is fumigation. Certainly thank you for your support with that, because being a primary agricultural port, we certainly do need to have fumigation services in our port area, and you guys have been very supportive of that. So I'm going to take a little bit of a leap here, Rich, and I'm gonna base it on our friendship of many years, that you certainly have my support in your efforts for a facility at the port. And I'm going to offer this as some leverage, and it might get me in trouble, but I'm always in trouble in a way. Recognizing that your agency, you and some of your predecessors certainly supported this port in our efforts to get our dredging down to 50 feet. And I hope you add this to your conversation with Danny Wan, that your agency was one of those that wrote the letters in support of our efforts to get our dredging done for our port. And also, being one of the old guys, I was one of those that were on the Base Closure Commission back in the early 90s. So I know what efforts that were put forth to help the Port of Oakland get the Naval Fleet Supply Center and the Oakland Army Base. And again, then you had, although not yourself, but your predecessors were a part of that committee in that whole effort to get all of that land transferred to the Port of Oakland. So you certainly have my support, and I will reiterate it with Danny. And we do have a new maritime director, that the services provided by CBP, by Customs for our port, are absolutely essential. We want to be the agricultural port for the United States, particularly the Western United States, and we certainly need the services that you and your officers provide. So you deserve to have a premier facility, and everyone on the call, I'm perfectly okay with you saying, or at least having said, that Ron Brown committed that this is something that CBP needs in Oakland. So I'm stepping forward and making that commitment. I don't have the final decision, but you certainly have my support.
Ron, I thank you very much, and you've been consistent in that regard, so I appreciate the support, okay?
That's great. Ron, thank you very much for that. And that was very helpful. Evie, do you have a question?
Well, I'm going to comment on Ron Brown's comment on Rich's comment. And basically, Ron, you have our support for anything that you can advocate on behalf of CBP for the facilities. 700 Maritime really isn't made to be of much longer, and is a part of the 7th Street upgrade. And before then, I think CBP would like to know that they have a welcomed new area that they can move into. And what is really nice about Rich staying within San Francisco is his advocacy for his the officers that he oversees right now until Sunday, that he will advocate for this port. And Ron, really thank you. You are a good support within Port of Oakland, and whatever is needed there. The brokers and forwarders, users of the port, stakeholders, we will support you in that effort as well. So we want to support CBP in having ready nearby services to the necessary port services. The additional that I wanted to add is that hopefully we'll have that fumigation service soon. Last time I talked with Ron with Impact, that that'll be running soon, and we'll work together with the port stakeholders to get that running. Very necessary for our agriculture, commodities, import and export. So.
Very good, Evie. Thank you very much. Rich, do you have a response?
No, my response is I appreciate, the support. We don't want to we don't want the Taj Mahal. It's just when we got to pipe air in and things like that to the facility, it's it's not necessarily conducive to the kind of environment we want for the officers. And there's other things that we need to kind of look at there, but all I can say overall is the support, especially and CB Fank's been absolutely fantastic with this. Chris and Evie have always been great. And again, Ron and I had the discussion that, Danny Wan's inaugural address out there. And I really appreciate the way Ron approaches things, very frank and just a great partner to have. So again, I just say I appreciate the support. We'll get there. And I do want to reiterate one point though. I am going up to the field office. The officers and the ag specialists still work for me. I just, instead of having only the folks here in San Francisco and a few of my other ports, now I got them all. And so they know they work for me. And look, I appreciate the fact, and they're not on this call, but they are dedicated. And they do a hell of a job under some very difficult circumstances, especially right now. So I'll just leave it at that for now on those guys.
Okay. I'm going to see does anyone have one last question before we go? Going once.
Peter wanted to say something.
Sorry?
Peter.
Peter.
Hi. If nobody else has something, very interesting what you say about Rich, about moving your personnel from the airport to the ocean port where they're certainly needed. Do you think that's a national trend, or is that, again, Rich DiNucci taking the bull by the horns and addressing a problem where he can? Or is that also going to be done in Los Angeles, for example?
I know it's been discussed. I can't speak to whether it's done nationally. I think a few of the ports have looked to move folks into those areas that have not seen a reduction. I look at some of the stats I see from the trade associations, and I think LA was looking at 20-25% less in terms of movement down there. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I really, I do talk to Don Cusser and Don's at the seaport now, and LaFonda's got the airport. I know that people are moving bodies around to meet the workload. As to whether that's national, I have to plead a little bit here. I don't talk to the East Coast quite as much as I
tell you, Rich, if in Los Angeles, despite the fact that they've got fewer ships coming in, the congestion and at the marine terminals from time to time, today even, is very problematical. And some of that congestion is allegedly coming from inability of the terminals to get containers positioned for CBP inspections, and there's delays in getting the inspections. I don't know if it's because there are insufficient CBP personnel to do those on the marine terminals. But that demurrage, as everybody on this call knows, can cost $275 to $350 a day. So it gets expensive when something sits there for 10 days.
Peter, what I'll do, I'll give Don Cusser a call.
Yeah.
And I'll talk with Don. He had asked me a little bit about some things that I was doing to redeploy people here, so I gave him an answer on that. I'll follow up with him and I'll send you an email.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you guys very much. I want to just warn Evie and Ron not to leave because I have to talk to you afterwards. You're not in trouble. You just talk to you. For everybody else, I want to thank you. We do not have a speaker planned yet, but Ron has made a suggestion which we will talk about. And Evie, thank you very much for doing the introduction. Rich, all of our best in your new job. I know that we will continue to have you around. And Peter, that was a very nice testimonial. Rich, I never knew you were such a nice guy, but
I did not say he was nice. I did not say he's nice. I said he's effective.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't ruin my reputation. Don't ruin my reputation.
No, that's right. Don't worry, Rich. I'm not ever telling anybody, I'm not revealing to anybody that you actually are nice. I'm just saying you're effective as hell. And that's great.
That should be enough of a compliment for customs.
I'm good. Don't worry. We can stop now before the rest gets out. I don't need that.
For all of you, I want to say thank you all very much for being on this one. And we will be back in a couple of weeks. You'll get a notice. As always, thank you for your service. I know a lot of you guys are on the front line here, and you're doing really important work for all of us. And finally, be safe, take care of yourselves, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, Stas.